Let me tell you a story about a man. A good man. A family man. He was not a Scrooge. He was kind, generous, and upright in his dealings with others. But he just didn't believe in all that incarnation stuff which the churches proclaim at Christmas time. It just didn't make sense, and he was too honest to pretend otherwise. He just couldn't swallow the Jesus story about God coming to earth as a man. I'm truly sorry to distress you, he told his wife, but I'm not going with you to church this Christmas Eve. He said he'd feel like a hypocrite, that he'd much rather just stay at home, but that he would wait up for them. Shortly after the family drove away in the car, snow began to fall.
As he sat in his fireside chair and read the newspaper, he was startled by a thudding sound, and then another, and then another. At first he thought someone must be throwing snowballs against the house, but when he went to the front door to investigate, he found a flock of birds huddled miserably in the snow. They'd been caught in a storm, and in a desperate search for shelter had tried to fly through his living room window. Well, he couldn't let those poor creatures just lie there and freeze, so he remembered the barn where his children stabled their ponies. Quickly, he put on a coat and goloshes and tramped through the deepening snow to the barn. He opened the doors wide and turned on a light so the birds would know the way in. But the birds did not come in. He figured food would entice them, so he hurried back to the house, fetched breadcrumbs, and sprinkled them on the snow, making a trail to the yellow-lighted wide-open doorway of the stables.
But to his dismay, the birds ignored the breadcrumbs. He tried catching them. He tried shooing them into the barn while walking around them and waving his arms. But instead, they scattered in every direction, except into the warm, lighted barn. And then he realized they were afraid of him. To them, he reasoned, I'm a strange and terrifying creature. If only I could think of some way to let them know that they can trust me, that I'm not trying to hurt them, but to help them. But how?
And he thought to himself, if only I could be a bird and talk to them and mingle with them and speak their language and tell them not to be afraid. Then I can show them the way to the safe, warm barn. But I would have to be one of them so they could see and hear and understand. At that moment, the church bells began to ring. The sound reached his ears above the sounds of the wind. And he stood there, listening to the bells, feeling the glad tidings of Christmas. And he sank to his knees in the snow.